Here in downtown Winters, California. We're so happy that you're here. We got a great service today. Lots of wonderful people, lots of stuff to share. So glad that you're here. So we're going to start off with a little Myers back with I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. I am only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. All right.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Yolo. My name is Reverend David Clark, and I'm the senior minister here. And I just want to tell you from our whole community, welcome. Welcome. What a wonderful morning this is. Beautiful, crisp, clear. It's not too cold. It's not too hot. It's just perfect. So we're just going to ride that perfection. We've got a great service lined up for you. How you doing, Billy?
I'm doing very well. How about you?
I'm great. We got some special music today.
Well, it's coming from your wife, so I assume so. I always
I heard
enjoy,
tell.
I always enjoy it when Heather is our guest artist because I know she's going to pick out the right songs. I don't have to worry about it. It takes a little bit off my plate, so we got some great stuff.
Awesome. And we are also kicking off this week on January 30th. We're kicking off the season for peace and nonviolence, and that 64-day period between January 30th and April 4th, between the assassinations of Dr. Martin Luther King and Gandhi. And we're sectioning off that period. The world is sectioning off that period to really study and contemplate and dwell in peace and nonviolence in the world and in our own hearts. So we've got some special things lined up for this period of time. One of those special things is we have two special guests today. Well, we have three special guests today. Our two special guests that are going to give us a Native American prayer are Charles and Dorothea Bono. And they've got something very special planned for us, so that's going to be our invocation for today. Thank you and welcome. Thank you for sharing your gifts. And we also have a guest speaker today. The incomparable and wonderful Reverend Mignonne Pollard is here to bless us again today. She's always wonderful, so, I know I'm going to learn something. So she is a great educator. So for now, you're probably wondering, well, what is Science of Mind? I'll tell you. Science of Mind is a teaching based on the universal principles that run as a common thread throughout all religion and philosophies. It is the realization that God is not something out there separate from us that we need to draw in. God is already within us, around us, and within us. So we are never separate from God. And we exercise this connection that we have to God and this connection that we have to each other through our beliefs. And there are four core things that we believe and practice here at CSL Yolo. And I'm going to give those to you now. Number one, we believe that love is all there is. Everything is a call for love, an expression of love, a reaction to love. Love is intertwined in all of our decisions and choices that we make throughout our lives. So we acknowledge and accept and celebrate the fact that love is all there is. Number 2, we believe that all thought is creative and influential. Thoughts are things. Can you think of anything in your life right now that has not been preceded by thought? First, it existed in mind, and then it exists in the material world. That is how it works. And so we pay a lot of attention to what we think and what we believe in this philosophy. Number 3, we believe that you are whole, perfect, and complete exactly as you are right now. We believe that of ourselves, and we believe that of you. And it's a very simple basis for that belief. We come from a whole, perfect, and complete Creator that can only produce wholeness, completeness, and perfection. So you are part of the perfection of God. So we believe that about each other, and approaching life from that standpoint of already being whole and then making your decisions, that changes the game quite a bit. Number 4, we believe in a world that works for everyone, and we're working from that world together. It's a world that we're not trying to make work for everyone. It's a world that currently works. It runs on love and law and cause and effect, and it works the same way for every single person on the planet. And what we do in this philosophy is figure out how to make the choices that bring our good to us, that bring our present good. So this world is working, and we want more people to know how it works and that it's working for their good. So that is what we're here for. And that's what we believe. So now my favorite time of the day is our namaste time, a time when we get to look each other in the eye and acknowledge that whole, perfect, and complete person that's standing across from you with a loving namaste. So let's namaste. Thank you for participating in that. Feels so good to just look across at another person and just to know that they're all right, that they're the same as you, that they have God inside of them, living, breathing, acting, and everything. So I challenge you to everyone that you meet, if you don't give them a physical namaste, that you can give them a mental namaste and know their wholeness. And it might change the way you look at other people. So I challenge you to do that. So right now, I want to welcome up our practitioner of the day, Dr. Deborah Taylor. She's going to give us our affirmation, our vision, our mission, and our affirmation today. Good morning, Deborah.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So, I'm already like, can you feel it? Mm-hmm. So it is my absolute pleasure and honor and excitement to share our vision and mission here in this community, and also share some things that are happening and invite you into them. So here at Center for Spiritual Living Yolo, we have a big vision. So I'm going to invite us to share in that vision. I'm going to read it, and then I'll invite you to read it and state it in your own words, anchoring it in your consciousness. Our vision is to create an environment for all to realize the power of spiritual connection. Let's say that together. Our vision is to create an environment for all to realize the power of spiritual connection. And our mission in support of this vision is to provide a sanctuary for all to be lifted and inspired to embody spiritual principles and live their inherent greatness. I want you to really pay attention to that inherent greatness. So let's just take a breath and stand in that inherent. That is, it's already yours. You don't have to work for it. You don't have to beg for it. You don't have to do anything for it. It's just who you are. So let's say the mission statement together. Our mission is to provide a sanctuary for all to be lifted and inspired to embody spiritual principles and live their inherent greatness. For we are spiritual beings. So as we start our season a little early, for the season for peace and nonviolence.
Never too early.
Never too early, you're right. Never too early. So we're inviting everyone into not only contemplating what is peace and nonviolence, but to actually stand in that peace, to be that peace. You see my t-shirt?
What does it say?
Be the change that you wish to see in the world. And our affirmation today I contemplate the words of the Mahatma Gandhi. Be the change you wish to see in the world. And I light the flame of courage to practice the principles of peace and nonviolence to myself and others. So let's just take a breath. And let's just speak the words. Today, I contemplate the words of Mahatma Gandhi. Be the change you wish to see in the world, and light the flame of courage to practice the principles of peace and nonviolence to myself and others. And so it is. So I'd like to invite our board president, Peggy Gravando, to share other happenings that we're involved in.
All right, first up in this happening community is our annual meeting, which is on February 11th, downstairs after service in the fellowship hall. And there will be an ability to join us virtually, and we'll send those details out. We do need a couple of more board positions, so we would love to see some nominations. We just need 2 positions. And we ask our members to help us also approve virtual voting so we can update our bylaws. Next up is the Yolo Food Bank Tour, and we have a full team, so we're good. So I want to thank everyone that is joining us on this volunteer effort. And last up is the Gratitude Group with June Robinson, and it's meeting on the second Wednesday of the month, February 14th from 1 to 2:30 in the Davisville Apartments community room. We are going to change up a little bit about what we're going to discuss at the Gratitude Group, and I'll get more information on that moving forward. And I want to bring Deborah Taylor back to talk about the Season of Peace and Nonviolence.
Thanks, Peggy. I'll try to keep it brief. David has introduced the season very well, and I just want to let you know that there will be things happening here in this community to support the vision for peace and nonviolence in ourselves, in our families, in our communities, and thus in the world. For it all starts right here. So, things to look forward to. So my first act of self-nonviolence is I had all these plans to have everything all laid out and, just give it to you. That's coming. It's coming. But just want to let you know some of the things that are going on. So our own Jason Gerardo has several activities that are ongoing that he's so graciously allowing us to include in our calendar for peace and nonviolence. One, he does a regular Ho'oponopono forgiveness session, and 2, mindfulness walks. So the goal here is we'll put together a calendar and then you can know in advance when things are gonna happen. Other things that will happen, there'll be gifts and prizes for bring a guest kind of gifts, and just some little surprise things to look forward to. But the biggest thing is really to just step into what does peace mean for each one of us, and to actually be that peace, to stand in that peace, to remember, right? To stop, take a breath, and choose peace. Thank you.
And now as we enter into the more contemplative portion of today's service, please join me in singing I Have Faith. I have faith, I pray faith, I choose faith, I have faith, I have faith, I pray faith, I choose faith, I am faith, hoping, I have hope, I pray hope, I choose hope, I am hope again, I have hope, I pray hope, I choose hope, I am hope. When I trust and I let go, I know all is
Today's sacred reading is by Reverend Johnny Coleman, a Unity minister, from the book, It Works If You Work It. It works if you work it. Be open and receptive to your good. Release what happened yesterday or last year or this morning, and be prepared to receive what you need. Realize that you live in the midst of pure being, that you are unfolded and surrounded by a presence that wants to give you everything you want. This does not apply to any particular person because God is no respecter of persons. Anyone who is open and receptive to a clear channel may receive freely. The truth about you is that there is no lack. The truth about you is that there is no sickness. The truth about you is that there is no absence of God in your experience. Know that everything and everyone that concerns you is now made every whit whole. And know that as you believe, so you receive. It is done.
So it is. So good. So I have the great pleasure and honor to invite Dottie Bonneau and Charlie Bonneau forward to share with us a Native American prayer, and she'll tell you about that.
It's a real pleasure to be here. I can feel the wonderful spirit of this place. So I'm going to be sharing with you the sacred dance of the Etawa band of the Tslegi. And this comes from Dahani Oahu, who was given these instructions by her grandmother, Nellie Oahu, and her grandfather, Inowa Fisher. Now the thing is, these teachings are 27 generations old. 27 generations ago, the Pale One came to this continent, and the Pale One brought messages of peace and how to keep peace and share peace with our world. From Dahani we read, her book, Voices of Our Ancestors, the peacekeeper holds the vision of peace for all beings in all worlds as beauteous expression of harmony and balance through thought, word, and deed. The peacekeeper sees in all good relationships and balance resonating through thought and heart. The peacekeeper knows that each being is empowered by the will to choose, the wisdom to see, and intelligence to act. All beings together, weaving the dream of our shared reality. Recognizing that patterns of mind manifest as one's individual, family, clan, national, and planetary relationships. The peacekeeper turns aside anger, doubt, and fear, harmonizing conflicting emotions through complementary resolution. The peacekeeper acts with consideration for future generations and the mind of preserving life and that which enriches life. The sacred fires of will, compassion, and active intelligence within every living being are cohesive factors that enable mind to manifest in physical form. In 1995, I was honored to receive permission to share a sacred dance that has come to us from 27 generations ago from the Pale One, and also to share with you the heart song. So before I share, I'd like to show you some of the motions that you'll be seeing. One is to bring your light up from Mother Earth, and when you come to your heart, you lift the light up and you bring the light down from Father Sky, skillful means, and offer it to Mother Earth. And you can do this if you'd like in your seat. So, making a triangle, we bring the light up from Mother Earth, offer love and compassion of the Mother to Father Sky, and we bring down the light of Father Sky, the skillful means to enact compassionate acts and offer it to Mother Earth. A second motion is sweeping through obscuration. So you'll see this motion, sweeping through obscuration. And the final motion you will see is gathering wisdom. And so now I will sing the chant. And as you know, Spirit is everywhere present. So since we forgot the drum, which is a beautiful drum, we were walking, my husband Charles and I were walking up to this beautiful building, and I found this wonderful piece that had fallen off of a palm tree. And we discovered that we could make a drum with my kashaba bottle. So that's this is the chant. And as I sing it, you're welcome to feel your heart expanding. Feel the unique soul that you have brought to share with Mother Earth, spreading love and light and beauty through the world. So sense your heart center. Ateshna hey na, Ateshna hey na, Aniko kone, Teshna aha.
That's good.
And now I invite you to say, I am light.
I am light.
I share my light.
I share my light.
I am love.
I am love.
I share my love.
I share my love.
I am peace.
I am peace.
I share my peace.
I share my peace.
Aho.
Aho.
So I picked this song because this is Back to Basics Month, and to me, I have to shout out to Daniel Namad. When first time I ever heard this song, I just thought, this is our anthem. You know, this is Center for Spiritual Living's anthem. So I'd like to sing One Power for you. Sorry, I'm used to a different version of it.
Just had to change the key.
Oh, that's right, we forgot the key change. I would have noticed halfway through. I had been screaming in the rafters.
Once you get to the
Here we go, we're gonna do it again. Much better.
But we see it every hour of every day. One power indescribable, but we speak of it with every word we say. Mysterious until we know the truth. As simple as the love inside of you. Call it love, call it Jesus, call it Spirit, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, don't you see? It's the power of love in you and me.
One power, one power, one power. One power, one power.
We speak so many languages, different clothing, different colors, different names. But different is only dangerous when we forget that in our hearts we're all the same. We'll remember once we close our eyes to see. Such differences were never meant to be. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah,
everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness. It's the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration. It's the sunlight on your face. It's the birthright of all nations. It's the boundlessness of space. It's the beauty of a baby, the serenity of sleep. It's the anger you abandon, 'cause it's love that's most deep. It's It's the power of love that lives forever in you and me. It's the power of love in you and me.
Alrighty, now it's time to introduce our guest speaker for the day. It is Reverend Mignonne Pollard. If you have not seen her, then you have really been missing a treat. I'm going to read her bio here that really just kind of scratches the surface on who she is. Reverend Mignonne is a Center for Spiritual Living licensed minister. And she's been a licensed practitioner for about 10 years. She graduated from the Emerson Theological Institute in 2020. She completed additional studies at the Home School of Spiritual Leadership in 2021. She's a staff minister at the Center for Spiritual Awareness in West Sacramento. And she teaches CSL certified classes, and she developed workshops on self-love, kicking love addiction. That sounds interesting. Attaining prosperity, and using the works of Catherine Ponder. She believes and lives the principles of science of mind that it can change your life for the better. So get ready to learn something from the wonderful Reverend Mignonne Pollard. Let's give her a welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It is so beautiful to see your wonderful faces. I'm just going to tell you, in January of 1955, in the Beverly Theater in Los Angeles, Ernest Holmes, the founder of this philosophy, gave 4 talks in 4 weeks. The first talk he gave was the thing itself. The second, the way it works. The third, what it does. And finally, he talked about how to use it. We at Centers for Spiritual Awareness, Centers for Spiritual Living, have decided to take those 4 talks, use them as a tradition, and call them Back to Basics. Now, I understand the archives, our Center for Spiritual Living archives, has the 4 talks, but they have not released them yet. So I just want to review a little bit about week 1, the thing itself, especially for folks who don't know about this. And if you do know about this, then I hope to remind you of some things. So the thing itself, we know that the thing itself is exactly what Heather was singing about. It is that energy back behind all. You know, it's called by 100 different names, but it's only one thing. It's only love. And then week 2, we talked about the way it works. There's only good. It's all unfolding. It's your good, and whatever is happening in your life, it's for your greater spiritual unfoldment. So the way it works is it works for your good. It loves you gently, and sometimes it kicks you in your butt. What it does, I like to say that love, now we're going to translate love into this idea of desire. Love it's your desire. Whatever your desire is, you can just literally whisper that desire in the secret chambers of your heart. The universe, God, infinite being, whatever you call it, divine love, it hears it. It is impersonal. And if you believe that you can have that, and if you are in alignment with spiritual law, then that becomes yours, because it is impersonal. It is no respecter of persons. And finally, how do we use it? Well, this chapter, first thing this chapter does is it says, you know, people can talk about this until forever, but you know them by what their demonstrations are. You know them by the practical application of the science of mind. So today, the theory is set aside, and we're going to talk about prayer and meditation and science mind treatments, affirmations, visualizations, feelings. You know, there's a moment that comes in your life when you know that you know that you know that God is working as your life and that all things are possible. The moment, for me, actually is reinforced daily. I know that moment to moment, space to space, in many circumstances. I know God is there, and I know God is working. I know it when you're having that little tiff with your friend or significant other, and you take that breath. Oh, God is there. Yes, you know it. Whenever you're in the flow, you're just in this easy, effortless flow. It's God showing up as your life. It is, and forgive me for this, but the example just standing bright in my mind. I had a student say, one of the students that I was teaching in the class said, you know, I needed some toilet paper. I was like, okay. But you don't want to tell anybody about that kind of thing. I said, okay. So I went over to a friend's house. And they go to Costco. They live alone. And they bought all this toilet paper. And before I knew it, I had all the toilet paper I needed. Now that sounds like Spirit cares about my toilet paper? Yes, Spirit does. Spirit cares about what you care about, because Spirit wants the best joy and love and everything that's working in and around and through you. Now, you know, we teach in schools this idea, stop, drop, and roll if there's a fire. Stop, drop, and roll. So I'm going to change that a little bit. Say stop, drop, and pray. Stop, drop, and pray if there's a fire. And when I say there's a fire, I mean a fire of the mind, something that's not going right, someone cut you off in the traffic, whatever the fire is. Here's my current fire. I'll share with you my current fire. My current fire is, I did all the things you're supposed to do because I know how to use science of mind tools. And I got the job I wanted. For years, I got it. And now I'm like, I got it. Now what? not exactly what I expected. So the tools, I love them. They help you move through things. It'll give you what you want, and then after you get it, you still may have to do a little more work, and that's all right. I want to talk a little bit about, I want to share this story. I want to share this story with you, and then I'll come back to prayer, meditation, affirmations, and visualizations. This is a story, and this is directly from Ernest Holmes. And it is from his program, This Thing Called Life. I don't know if you all know this, but Ernest Holmes had a radio program called This Thing Called Life. And this is put God to work in your experience. In the words of Ernest, these are Ernest Holmes' words now. I want to tell you about a man whose business was failing. He and his partners had tried everything they could think of without success, so they decided that they would go through bankruptcy. But the man I knew believed in prayer and faith. Just before they decided everything was lost, he asked them to wait a week before they came to a final decision. He went home and he stayed by himself for a whole week, trying to make his mind receptive to divine guidance. He asked that God would give him whatever ideas were necessary to reestablish himself. He kept himself in a receptive mood with this one thought in mind: divine intelligence within me knows what to do. Divine intelligence within me knows what to do. He kept his mind in a prayerful and expectant attitude. During the week, when he was alone, an idea came to him, which he felt could be applied to his business. And so he brought this idea to his partners, whose first reaction was that it was perfectly ridiculous. It couldn't be done. No one had ever done it before. There's no way that it could work. But he said to them, we are up against it. We've tried everything. We're on the brink of failure. We really don't have anything to lose. So they decided that since they had nothing to lose, there was no reason why they shouldn't try out any idea. The thoughts that came to him in his meditation were so clear and so definite that they were like a chart which one could follow. They were like instructions which could be carried out. And so they applied these ideas to their business. And in the next few months, the firm was again on sound footing. They were prosperous and expanding. It became the habit of them to gather together for meditation for the direct purpose of receiving divine guidance in their everyday affairs. The man was so impressed by what happened, he was so moved by it, that he decided to withdraw from the business and spend the rest of his life as a spiritual counselor for people who were trying to solve practical problems in everyday business life. And he called his business God in Business. So that's a simple story that Ernest Holmes shared of the practical application of divine guidance in everyday life. And the lesson we should learn from it is that we all have access to the power and intelligence of this thing called life. There is a place in your mind where it merges with the divine. There is a secret place where the Most High within everyone, and we should seek to discover that secret place. There is a power greater than we are, and we should learn to use it. Thank you, Ernest Holmes. So that is the teaching. That's it. How do you use it? Everything's right there in that story. You go within. That's how you use it. You go within because it wants what you want. It can't do anything but what you want. It's the law, and it will give you as much as you believe. So when you go within and you have an expectant, a hope, maybe not a hopeful expectancy, a knowing expectancy, you know, you're sure, you're certain of this. And you sit in that certainty, in that deep knowing. and then you act upon that deep knowing, and miracles, what we call miracles occur. People show up. Avenues open up. It can be as simple as toilet paper or a parking spot, but it works every single time. How do you use it? Now, here's something that I thought about. Because I'm evolving in my own self, I thought, I don't want to use anything. I don't want to be in a relationship where I'm using it. I want to be in a reciprocal relationship. And what I realize is I am in a reciprocal relationship. I am using it, and it is using me. I don't like the title, how do you use it? Because I'm like, I don't want to use it. But it's using me, and I'm using it. Like, we are in that relationship. God is like, girl, you in it already. I got you. So, like, we're in that reciprocal relationship every single day. And how do you use it? You use it with, I call it prayer and treatment. So I want to talk a little bit about the difference between prayer and treatment. And so I'm going to just turn around for 2 seconds and get my handy reference here, the first 4 chapters of Science. Well, actually, not in the first 4 chapters of Science of Mind. So the first 4 chapters of Science of Mind is all of the basics. And then behind it, he expands on the basics. So he has a chapter in there about prayer. And I've been coming up with this more and more. I like the term prayer. And when I say prayer, I mean treatment most of the time. I'm talking about treatment or prayers of thanksgiving or prayers of praise. But there is a difference. So the Science of Mind says, are prayers and treatments identical? And Ernest says, the answer to this question is both yes and no. If one prays with the recognition of Spirit's omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence, then the realization of man's unity with Spirit, then his prayer is spiritual treatment. Now, that was a lot of words. That's Ernest. If your prayer is scientifically based, there's a sort of a scientific model upon which they have perfected. Ernest Holmes, in his beginning of understanding treatment, Ernest Holmes had 3 steps of treatment. He said, you recognize that there is one God. And then you recognize that you are one within as that God. You unify with that God, right? And then the third thing is you make a declaration. Ernest was done. That was his treatment. It's not what we teach. He had a dean of a school, and that dean added 2 additional steps. Said, Ernest, it's perfectly wonderful. We understand that you can make that declaration and you understand what's happening and you can unify with God. But the rest of us need to thank God that it's already done as a way to bring it into our minds that it's already complete. So we get into that place where we give that thanksgiving. And then we release it to the law. We don't try to help it along. We release it to the law. Usually when we try to help it along, it takes a little longer to get done than if we would have just released it and let it go. So, so that is treatment and prayer, right? So let me again talk a little bit about this, because I think that the way it works, how it works is we're always in this relationship. We're in it every day. We're in it whether we want to. We wake up in it. It's all over us. So if you think God is this far off thing, if you think God is moody, if you think God grants some people prayers and other people's not prayers, that's not the type of praying we're talking about. We're talking about coming with a sense of deep knowing that there is only one God and that God is working for my good, for your good. Now, sometimes we do fall into a beseeching prayer. I did that. I did once. Some of you may know I had a pulmonary embolism, like a double saddle pulmonary embolism, really scary. And I was doing something, exerted myself, didn't know I had it at the time, and I fainted. I was coming in from an argument and into a garage, and all of a sudden I felt myself going down. And what did I say? I'm from the South. I'm from an AME church. I left the AME church and then I went to the Baptist church. So as I'm going down, what I said was, help me, Jesus, Jesus, help me, Jesus, help me, Jesus, help me. Now, I'm glad those weren't my last words. They surely could have been. And that's how God has a sense of humor. John's like, you call me Hammer if you want to. God is forgiving. I didn't have time to think about, all the qualities of God as I was going down, and all of the unifying with God. No, it was yo, help me. And God, Jesus, whatever you call it, responded. And so I stand before you today. So God is forgiving. You might say she slipped. She's a religious scientist, but they used to call it backsliding in the. She did a little backsliding. But God is a God of grace and understanding and deep knowing. And if you call, God will come. God will come. Beseeching prayer, though, is not necessarily the way to do it. I'm an audible learner, and I'm glad that God works with us in our ways in which we learn. And when I think about how you use it, and now you got to forgive me again, because it's going back to the upbringing. You can replace the word Jesus with anything you want. But really, there was a song back in the day that said, I'm gonna have a little talk with Jesus, gonna tell him all about my troubles. He'll hear my faintest cry, and he'll answer by and by. So that's what I mean. That is what I'm talking about. That is the relationship that we're seeking. That's how you use it. Talk to spirit. Talk to yourself. Talk in the mirror. Talk to that energy. Know that there is this energy back behind all that doesn't mind what you call it. It doesn't have an ego like that. It doesn't care. It just wants that recognition that it is working through you and in you and as you. And I like the idea of having an intimate, personal relationship with this entity, with this energy, with this deep knowing. It is personal. It is personal. So when I thought about constructing this, I thought, well, how to use it? And you know them by the demonstrations. Well, I need to tell them about all my demonstrations. Then I got real shy about that, because some of them were really big and wonderful to me. And then you might go, well, that's not a lot. Because it's what you want. You get to demonstrate what you want by using spiritual mind treatment, by sitting quietly in meditation and listening to the divine. It's a give and take relationship. I'm going to have a little talk with Jesus, and then I'm going to go sit down somewhere, or I don't really think of it as, my idea of Jesus is not probably what when you say that, you think of like a guy with like brown hair and light up brown eyes or whatever. That's not my idea when I'm having that talk. It's something different. But you talk, you give, you say, because it's the power of the word. You speak it. And then sometimes you don't even have to speak it. As you get, relationships grow. Sometimes you have to say everything in the beginning of a relationship. But as your relationship with Spirit gets closer and closer and closer, you just have to seriously think it. Sometimes you're even afraid to think it, and it's like in your heart. And it will still come to pass. Because God, I'm going to call it God, is a loving entity. It's a loving energy. Divine intelligence is a loving and giving energy. So what I know is that there's a listening and there's a talking. There's a giving and there's a receiving, and there's a giving and a receiving and a giving and a receiving, and it's a cycle, and it's the law. How do you use it? You use it to fulfill your deepest dreams. My deepest dreams, things I think are great demonstrations, might not be your deepest dreams. My deepest dreams, I will share. One of my deepest dreams was to go to Egypt. So I'm going to Egypt this fall, and that's going to be with a wonderful CSL group. That's great. That's one of my dreams. It was in the little hamper for like 5 years, somebody told me, before it came to fruition. Now, demonstrations can come fast or they can come slowly. It just depends on how open you are to them, right? And sometimes it's not things like travel or parking spaces. Sometimes it's things like illness. Sometimes it's things like illness. So I know that I have indeed been in deep connection with Spirit, and people have come and they have asked for prayers around certain illnesses. And some have found great relief, and some have transitioned to another space. But I believe that whatever that outcome, it was their reception to it and their decision for moving forward. I believe we make that decision to move forward. So I pray for not the cure, I pray for the healing. We as practitioners pray for a healing, and sometimes that healing doesn't necessarily look like, sometimes that healing looks like transitioning to another space, finishing your work here and transitioning to another dimension. Sometimes that's what the healing looks like. Sometimes. So Ernest Holmes also wrote this wonderful little pamphlet about what we teach. And it says, let us see what different scriptures have to say on the subject, starting with our Bible. And this is the subject of the power of the Word. It says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Forever, O Lord, thy word is seated in heaven, and thou, Lord, hast laid the foundation of the earth, and the heavens, and the works of thine hands. Our God is a living God. His power fills the universe with the Spirit thou breathest. So in referring to the law of the mind, the Bible says, every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof. For thy words they shall be justified, and by thy words they shall be condemned. So, and they are astonished at the doctrine for the word with the power. So there's the power of the word. And I think how you use it, how I use it, I can talk really about how I use it, is through prayer and through meditation. But again, there's just 5 types of intelligence. I'm a verbal person. So when there's a lecture going on, I'm like taking notes. I love verbal. There are people who love visual. God will speak to you in the language that you speak. If you are kinesthetic, if it is through dance, if it is through movement, God will bring that to you. If it is through nature, then perhaps the question that you have and the answer that you're seeking, take a walk and listen. Go within. Spirit will always talk to you. Spirit will always tell you in the way in which you understand how to navigate a circumstance. And Spirit will give you the desires of your heart, if you are open to receive them. And sometimes that happens quickly, and sometimes that takes 5 or 6 years. So how do you use this? Or longer. Yes, or longer. Depends on your resistance or acceptance of it. How do you use it? You use this through using our tools. You use this through spiritual mind treatment. Through those scientific steps, those 5 steps, because I think the Thanksgiving, which puts you in this feeling, because the whole thing is this energy. It's your thought, mind energy. And the energy is an energy of expectancy, of quiet, I call it quiet expectancy. So the easiest and most recent example I have of a quiet expectancy is from last night. Last night I was at an installation of a minister at a new church at East Bay, and they had a reception in downtown Oakland. They moved it from the church to downtown Oakland. Downtown Oakland is a very busy place. And I was riding around a block, but I was like, I can't find a place to park. So don't do what I say, just listen. So I illegally parked, knowing that me and the Popo have a relationship, that they stay away from me when I ask them to in my mind. Anyway, so I illegally parked for about 30 minutes, but I got quiet and I got aligned, and I was doing some meditation, and I was getting aligned with spirit, and I was getting myself sort of ready. And it took a few minutes. It took 15 to 20 minutes, and I got into that deep space, and I got into that alignment. And then I had a friend with me, and I looked over to them and I said, and now the parking space is in front of the building. I've got to go. They've just left. And I got out of the illegal parking spot, drove around the block, and the parking space was in front of the building. It's the feeling. It's in the flow. If we're all connected, we're all connected. If it's all one, it's all one. I could tell you a bunch of woo-woo stuff about it all being one, because you tap into the oneness. You can tap into race consciousness, scary, scary, scary. Or you can tap into spirit. And spirit lets you know what you need to know, when you need to know it, exactly right on time. How do you use it? Develop a relationship. Get in relationship. Seek ye first the kingdom of God. Seek ye first the knowledge of spirit. Seek ye first that love of self, that love of spirit, that love of God. That's it. That's what I know. I know it. It's what I know. And so, so it is. Let's take this message into prayer. So I'm just acknowledging that one energy, that one entity that is back behind all, that energy that was here the day that we came on this earth, and here the day we transitioned to the next moment in time and space as we understand it. There is only one. It is divine intelligence. It is timeless. It knows all places at all times. It has all knowledge. Oh, and I, little old me, I am this knowledge. I have access to this knowledge. I have a connection with this knowledge. And each and every person here has access to that knowledge. Each and every person here has a connection with that knowledge. And I speak this word right here and right now. Oh, that this methodology, this technology of using spiritual mind treatment, of using meditations, of using affirmations. I speak this word that sitting with each other in community raises this vibration of peace, of world peace, right here and right now. Oh, I know that as peace radiates from each and every one of us, it radiates out into the world. And I'm so grateful and thankful. I'm grateful and thankful for this community. I'm grateful and thankful for this technology. I am grateful and thankful for this one entity that moves in and around and through everything. So just knowing that love and peace and joy is mine and each person's here right now. I'm grateful and thankful, and I release this word into the law. I let it go. I let it go. And so it is.
Thank you so much, Mignonne. That's amazing. Yeah.
It's fun. Okay. I have to give a tiny little testimony. Y'all probably know, some of you do, really know, that for the last month or so I've been trying to get a certification in my exam. This is this week. And I'm studying really hard, and I'm trying really hard. And this weekend, I took one of my practice tests, and I did terrible on it. And I've been really sulking about it and freaking out about it, because I'm not an exam person. What you just said to me, how can I forget these things? But you just fixed my whole problem, and you reminded me. You reminded me. Thank you so very much. Anyway, okay, so I'm gonna sing a song that talks about what you just said. Many nights we pray. Oh, we had to change the key again. Oh, much better chord. Many nights we prayed with no hope anyone could hear. In our hearts a hopeful song we barely understood. Now we are not afraid, although we know there's much to fear. We were moving mountains long before we knew we could. There can be miracles when you believe. Though hope is frail, it's hard to kill. Who knows what miracles you can achieve when you believe somehow you will. You will.
Well, I gotta follow that. Wow. Thank you, Heather, and thank you, Reverend Mignonne, for that great reminder of keeping our relationship fresh with Spirit and strong. Speaking of relationships, we are a center that observes the spiritual practice of giving and tithing. We call it conscious, committed, and structured giving, and there are many ways to expand your abundance consciousness. We give of our time through volunteering, our service. We give of our talents through participation, and we give of our treasure through financial donations. Your gifts help us in our mission to provide a sanctuary for all to be lifted and inspired to embody spiritual principles and to live their inherent greatness. And every quarter we share a portion of our tithe with a different community organization. And this month this is the last week that we are tithing to the Winters Historical Museum. And so we heard from them last week, and they gave us a lovely presentation about who they are and what they do and how important they are to the community. So thank you for giving a little bit extra, knowing that we're helping that important local organization. So there are many ways to give. You can text to give at the number on your screen there. You can use PayPal at that PayPal account, or you can send us a good old-fashioned check or money order to CSL Yolo, P.O. Box 1361, Davis, California, 95617. So now that we know why we give and we know how to give, let us enter into that sacred consciousness of divine abundance. And I ask you to place your hand over your heart, symbolizing that vibrational energy of circulation, and say with me our abundance affirmation. I give with an attitude of abundance, knowing that as I give, I do receive. Today, I celebrate my prosperity and my ability to share from my overflow of good. I give from the knowledge that all is well.
God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
We bless and release these gifts to do their work of proclaiming the good news that all is well. As we have freely given according to the law of circulation, it returns to us full measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. So we will always have more to enjoy and to spare, to give and to share. For this we give thanks, we let it be so, and so it is. We have a special message to the children that are out there headed in this general direction, and the children that we have nestled deep in our hearts that we carry with us everywhere. We want to say we love you.
We love you.
We are here for you.
We are here for you.
And we're so glad you're here.
We're so glad you are here.
Okay, a couple of last little things. We believe in the power of connection in this community. And what does that mean? That means that we believe that we're connected to Spirit, and we are also connected to each other. And that connection has power. And we exercise that power through prayer. So if you find yourself in need of prayer today, if you have a hard time finding God in what you're working through right now, then please let us know. We have prayer practitioners out in the house today. Raise your hands, prayer practitioners. I am also one. If you are in need of prayer today, please come to us. Let us pray for you. It's what we're trained to do. It's what we love to do, is seeing God in you and in your life. So if if you need prayer, just let us know. We have a lovely little prayer area over there too that we can take advantage of. So after the service, we will have fellowship downstairs in the fellowship hall. So please join us for food, for fun, for friends, for family. Just join us down there, and we all get to know each other a little bit better. So that is happening after the closing song and benediction. I do want to say one last little footnote. Please join us next week. We are having another special guest speaker, Reverend Mitch Austin is going to be here. And he's going to have also after the talk and after the service, he's going to have a short workshop downstairs. So that will be fun as well. So please join us next week for all that special stuff. And we will be continuing on with the Season for Peace and Nonviolence. So all that happens after the closing song and benediction. So let us get in a big blessed circle and sing our closing song. Now we swing the circle out this way. Oh, wait a minute. Our circle's fragmented.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. We can bring you. Oh man! The circle's so big.
There we go. We did it.
Knowing that your good is coming to you at all times. And always remember that God loves you. And so it is.
So it is. How are you? Good to hear that. Good to remember. Okay. Yeah.